Okay, now how will the federal government shutdown specifically, how will it affect all of this if it continues? Okay, now real estate specifically, like what's important for this group, how is it going to affect real estate? And there's a lot of analysis that shows when the government shuts down, it results in a dip in transactions leading up to the government shutdown because people are worried about it coming and they're pausing decisions or pausing actions. Then there's a continued decline during the shutdown and then a rebound after. So the way to think of it is kind of like the same thing for federal government employees. And sorry, a lot of people are experiencing a little bit of pain right now as they start to miss those paychecks. But what has happened historically with federal government employees? Their paychecks stop. So their income temporarily stops. And then when the government reopens, they get all that back pay. And hopefully that'll happen again. Think of that in the context of the real estate market. It's like the government shuts down, where you pull back those transactions, and then as soon as the government reopens, they all come back again. So historically, that's what's happened. And so if we're experiencing a little bit of a dip, and when we talk about the data represents that. We're seeing a slowdown in pendings. That should come back. We should see a bump once the federal government reopens. But like I said, if this thing drags on, we're already in the 20s. The longest shutdown ever was 35 days. So if this extends another 2 weeks, we're in unprecedented territory, and who knows what will happen. And so one specific reason, which is obvious for why transactions and pendings and showings would drop in this area, is the percentage of federal government employees who are no longer receiving paychecks. And then a few other specific things. The National Flood Insurance Program, their authority has expired. They can issue no more insurance policies. So if you're trying to purchase a home in an area that requires flood insurance and you can't get a policy, you can't close that transaction. And the reason, not to get too far in the weeds, for the National Flood Insurance Program is that there are a lot of houses in areas where private lenders won't offer insurance policies because it doesn't make sense. It's just the risk is too high. I've heard that a lot of private insurers are trying to jump in to fill this void. But like I said, the whole reason for this government program on flood insurance is because private insurers in a lot of areas aren't willing to assume that risk. So that can just stop a lot of transactions, not necessarily here. I mean, we do have homes in flood areas in here, but it's not like the bulk of the area. And then also FHA and VA both seem to be running along relatively smoothly, but a prolonged shutdown would have to result in delays for both types of loans, because if they keep going with reduced staffing, there's no way they can keep up with it. So this next item is some verification that lenders need to do rely on government data. And so income verifications that rely on IRS data could be delayed. Requests for social security number verification from SSA could be delayed.